morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our podcast on World Food Day. It takes place on the 16th of October. And this year the theme is Water is Life, Water is Food, Leave No One Behind. Very important connection to food because the importance of water is sometimes neglected. My name is Anza Bester. I am Senior Director for Global Customers based out of Chicago. Really responsible to walk the journey with our customers on sustainability. As you know, the increase for fresh water is continuously increasing. Many factors impacting that, but obviously the growth in the global population have a big impact. Today, the increase for water is roughly twice the increase or the rate of the population growth. Food industry, the wider food industry has a vital role to play in this, and making sure that water is not only that we save water, but also making sure that we understand our impact and managing the impact. This can be anything from looking at agriculture efficiency. In agriculture industry today, roughly responsible for about 70% of the global freshwater withdrawals. But not only on the agriculture industry, we also want to look at businesses and how we use water in our businesses, whether you're manufacturing or delivering services. And then obviously also looking at ways to reuse, recycle, investigating ways to protect the aquatic food systems as well. In many ways, the world is looking at scientists for innovative ways to save water, and to find solution to protect security, and ultimately to provide food that's nutritious and affordable to everyone. So over the next few days, we will share a bit of an interactive discussion with some of our experts in the group. They're joining me today on this panel. Maybe I can introduce them quickly to you. So we have Hans Blank. Hans is new in marine nutri-sciences. He's the founder and director of Blank Consulting that is based in the Netherlands. So they joined marine nutri-sciences earlier in this year, April 2023. Then we have Nicolas Cartier. He's our CEO of marine nutri-sciences, really the person that's keeping all of us responsible for aligning towards sustainability. And then Paola Versa, she's our technical expert based in Italy. And she will share some information specifically on PFAS, which is her field of expertise. So to kick off the conversation today, Nicolas, I'm going to ask you first a question. And this is really to just give us a quick perspective on what you see are some of the challenges in the food industry in the light of the growing population and the increase for fresh water, and how that resonates back to the purpose of marine nutri-sciences.
Thank you, Anza. Well, the challenges is altogether huge and very simple. The world population is going to grow up to, maybe something like 10 billion by the middle of this century. And it's a huge challenge to be able to feed those 10 billion plus without devastating our one and only planet. If we look at data that the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization provides, takes between 2,000 and 5,000 liters of water to produce a person's daily food intake. Water is indispensable as an ingredient to agricultural production, and without water, farmers can't do their job, can grow their crops, can feed their animal. Therefore, the topic of today, which is better controlling water, is an absolutely critical importance.
So I'm going to quickly jump into some questions on environmental footprinting, and I'm going to send that to you, Hans. And I think the first question is back to the food and the agriculture industry that should have a better understanding about their impact, specifically on their business activities on water. I know there's specific expertise in the Blank organization, and I was wondering if you can share a little bit more on that. And then just ultimately, where do businesses start? measure some of these
What we
activities?
do, and that's what we do for more than 20, nearly 25 years, is making the overview of the impact of a company or a product or the products that a company produce. And that's basically adding up all the impact over the complete product supply chain or the value chain. Yeah, that's what we call footprinting. So making the complete addition of impact over the complete production value chain. And then you look at multiple impacts. So you can look at carbon emissions, you can look at eutrophication, or you can look at resource depletion, but of course you can also look at water depletion, water use and water depletion. So that's part of the assessment that we do. And yeah, that is really becoming more and more important. We see that that many companies now pick this up because they also set targets on these, let's say, environmental footprints.
Good. So just going back into water resource and safeguarding water and business activities on sustainability of water. What is the role of water specifically in environmental footprinting, and where does that fit in?
Yeah. Now, what we do is making mostly we start with making a baseline assessment. So we look at where is your water use in the complete production chain. Quite often this is in the agricultural system. So this is at crop production, or this is in the animal production system. Most of the water use is related to crop cultivation, so irrigation of land. That's really one of the main sources of water depletion, basically, because the irrigation also takes place in the situation of scarcity. But you do this footprint assessment, the water footprint assessment, water use, water scarcity definition over the production chain. Agriculture is mostly the hotspot, but there can be also other hotspots, especially when you're in food industry. There can be also a lot of water use there. But this is really the starting point, getting the overview of the impact. And you can do this specifically targeting on water use and water scarcity. You can also take into account, am I polluting water at the same time? So then you're making a more full footprint assessment, a water footprint assessment. But mostly what we do is to connect this also to the assessment of other impacts happening in the production chain, value chain, because there can be also trade-offs. So between if you want to make changes in your system, production system, you can reduce water, but it can come with an additional energy use or another impact. So having this more complete picture of environmental impacts next to water footprint is also important. And yeah.
Thank you for that. Gives a good picture of the complexity that these multiple things impacting footprinting. Most probably just a question, you've mentioned water scarcity. So in fact, in a footprint would look different in different markets, in different countries, from your perspective?
Yeah, that's true. So if you now, for instance, you take the example of pig production in a country, or broilers or whatever, animal production, then they get feed, which is coming from all over the world, basically. And it matters a lot if the crops for the feed are grown in a country with a lot of water scarcity or not. So basically how it works then is, okay, where does the feed come from? And then look specifically in the crop production in a certain country, and then identify if there's a situation of growing crops in a scarce situation, and that can be done by irrigation or not by irrigation. Mostly if there's a lot of irrigation taking place, then you really have a hotspot in terms of water use. So it's specific per country indeed, yeah.